Hey everyone, it's Emily from Life So Savory, and today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable embroidered greeting cards. Did you know that you can use your embroidery machine to embroider on paper? Well, this is a project for you to try it out. I grabbed some watercolor paper greeting cards. You can find these with the link in the description of this video or in the tutorial post that is also linked here. Grab some embroidery stabilizer. Now, this embroidery stabilizer, you want it to be tearaway. And my tearaway, I couldn't stick tape to it. It just didn't stick very well. So on top of the tearaway, I added some adhesive stabilizer because it has that nice paper backing. So I was able to then use that to stick the tape to. You don't want to stick the paper directly to your adhesive stabilizer because it might pull or rip the paper. So we're just going to use some painter's tape because it has a nice light adhesive and we'll keep it in place. So I'm using my 5x7 hoop, and this is a greeting card that fits inside that hoop perfectly. And I'm going to tape it down with just some painter's tape because that will help keep it in place. Once the embroidery gets started, the stitches will hold everything in place. You can also hold it lightly with your hand, but I wanted to be able to just sort of watch it, and so I'm using tape to hold it in place. Again, these are watercolor paper greeting cards, and they're going to work really well with that needle punching through the paper. You can use regular cardstock, but there's just a greater chance of ripping. This watercolor greeting card is very fibrous and makes great paper to embroider on, especially if you're just starting out. I got these adorable designs off the Artspira app, and you can find them on there by searching flowers. In the designer on Artspira, I went ahead and added the text as well. You're going to see two different cards here in this video because I forgot to record the final step on this floral thank you card, but the process is exactly the same. Once your graphic or your image is finished embroidery, you're going to remove it from the machine and pull off that tape. You can see this one is a little bit different. I made a cute high card. The succulent was also found in the Artspira app, and the high text was added using the designer within the app as well. This stabilizer is not tearaway, it is cutaway. It gives it more stability on the back of the card, especially if you're using regular cardstock. So after you've removed it from the hoop, go ahead and trim around your design as closely as you can, leaving that stabilizer on the back of the card for stability for those stitches. This will keep it from pulling through the paper, especially if your paper has started to rip or tear at all on the front of the card. I'm using a piece of another watercolor card that I just cut. It was a 6-card set, so I cut one in half to use it as the backing to my cards. But you can also use color paper or other cardstock as the backing. Use some thin glue adhesive here to fully attach the back to the stabilizer. Again, I'm covering the entire side of the card so that it looks really smooth and cohesive and you don't just see like a small patch. This also works if you have a larger design on that side of your card. So I'm just spreading that glue around. Once it is fully covered, I'm going to stick the other watercolor piece on top. And then I wanted to use a little pressure to fully glue it in place, which gives a great flat result when you're finished. So I went ahead and just put it underneath my cutting mat. You can see here it's just going to look great on the inside of that card. I have a few threads to trim. Put it under your cutting mat. I slid my sewing machine over to give it some pressure, but you can also use some heavy books or anything else that's going to apply that. So make a lot of cards and make some people happy.